Okay, so week 2 of the CYBO program includes bands. So we do 55% of your max. I'm doing about 105 plus band tension. Trying something a little different with kind of a two-way band tension. First band tension straight up, vertical band tension. The next is going to be kind of different angle. It's going to pull me out. So I got to really get that scoop, get those wrists over. So the way I measure band tension is with this little fish scale here. It was given to me by a client of mine, Brian. Thanks, Brian. It's pretty easy to use. We're gonna do, zero it out. I'm gonna hook it up to this band, get set up, and then bring it up to where I think it's gonna be for my curl. So top tension, we're almost at 12 pounds at the top there. And then we have the vertical band. So what I'm going to do with this is a little different. So I'm going to get set up, and then I'm going to loop it to kind of replicate how it's going to be over the bar. So I got to zero it out, get it on there, get it on there, and then we're going to curl it up to where it's going to be. So we got about 37 pounds for the vertical band. It's not 100% accurate, but it gives you a pretty good idea of what you're doing. So we're going to start with that. We start with the bands, 5x5, like I said, 55%. Really want to focus on speed, really firing up, getting over on the bands, and then we move into just a 1x1, which you'll see. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed the band tension tutorial. Now we're into week 2 of CYBO, and as I said earlier, it's 5x5 with 55% of your max. And you add the band tension in, and it's roughly, for me right now, it's roughly 84% of my max total at the top with the band tension. So that was set 1, relatively easy, just working on the speed. Coming up here, set 2, I gotta set up a little differently just based on how the bands are placed. So with the vertical band, I'm standing both feet in the middle, and then it's attached to the middle of the curl bar. So I kind of have to, I can't do my regular step back, but it doesn't really matter because the initial weight is really light, so I can kind of snatch it from far away. Still got to make sure you get that big breath in there. So there goes set 2. Pretty easy still. Moving in, set 3. Getting locked in, getting my feet in there. Feeling the wall, getting against the wall. Still got to get my good grip on there. So this is the first time I used the other band tension, more of a kind of pulling away, trying to pull the bar away from me as I'm coming up over the top. I mean, it was only, I think I said 12 pounds at the top. Couldn't really feel it, couldn't really feel anything with that. Maybe next time when I use it, I'll increase that band tension to try to get a little more action on that. All right, Coming into set 4 here. Things are beginning to fatigue, but I just got to keep firing out of the bottom, trying to get my hands over top. Had to take a couple breaths on this one. Just running out of air on these curls. But I finally get through set 4. A little bit of a grind on that last one. And I have been playing around today a little bit with letting my head come off the wall, because that's legal in raw. But I had to change it up and keep my head on the wall for the ISCA. So here we go, set 5. And I wanted to point out here, as I start to fatigue, when I reach my last rep, you may have noticed on other sets, I tend to peel away from the wall on that last set rather than bring it down and stay on the wall. I notice it puts a lot of pressure on my forearms and biceps if I stay on the wall in such a fatigued state. So rather risking injury, I'll peel away. I don't have to worry about that. So after the 5x5 with bands, rolling right into one set of one with 90%. Here's 165 for me. Using my regular setup again. Got one leg forward, one leg back, touching the wall. Getting the big breath in, getting a good grip, and let her rip. And I'm using the bigger plates just so I can get prepared for getting back into raw again, because they use the bigger plates. So that set went pretty well, so I decided to do a little guitar solo. So hope you enjoy that. You can't hear the music, but I can. So then I'm rolling into a 5x8 with standing barbell curls. And like I said last time, I don't mind if they get sloppy. So I'm starting out with, here's 135, tossing it around a little bit. And I believe I did that for the first and second sets. And then going into set 3, right here, I bumped it up to 145. Getting a little more fatigue, so you might see a little more swing, but you know, still looks pretty good to me. Getting a heck of a pump out of these barbell curls, getting a lot of wrist work. A lot of people complain it bothers their wrist, but I don't really have a problem with it. So I did that 145 for set 3 and 4, and then I said fuck it and put a little bit more weight on there. Bumped it up to 155, and let's see how this goes. Fatigue set in there. It's a little heavier. Got to get a little swinging going. Had to take a little break, get a big breath, and finished it off. Got to 8. Not bad. Alright, so after barbell curls, back into these Scott curls. And I'm just going to show one set, 5x10, 75 pounds here. And just like last week, I had to strap on that expanded pad due to my large physique. Keeping these relatively light and way more control, obviously, than the standing barbell curls. But there's just set 1 I'm going to show you, and then we're going to move on to some wrist roller action. Before I get into the wrist roller action, I just want to touch on the curl bar I use. I don't know if I mentioned it, but it's the OBZ 55 from Ivanko. Highly recommend investing in one of these if you're serious about strict curls, or I know they make a little cheaper version, and Rogue has a similar version, and I think it's even cheaper than that. But I've seen a lot of people get to strict curl meets, and they're just completely caught off guard with how beastly this bar is. But anyway, so here's just doing some wrist rollers. I got 25 pounder on there, and also strapped some chains on there. And so I went both ways twice, and that's about it.